This is a story about a boy whose life began with a promise of love and hope, but who would soon find himself lost and forsaken in a world that turned its back on him. Once upon a time, there is a village named Umudim, where life is simple and the people live close to the land. But in the simplicity of their lives, the shadows of pain and loss often loom large, casting long and unforgiving shadows over the innocent and the forgotten. Nana was born on a night when the moon hung low in the sky, and the stars seemed to whisper secrets of the ancestors. His mother, Chinay, cradled him in her arms, promising him a life filled with warmth and care. She was a young widow, her husband taken too soon by the harsh hands of sickness. But in Nanana, she found a reason to keep going, a reason to hope. The people of Umudim spoke of Chinay in hushed tones, some pitying her, others judging her for her misfortune. But she held her head high, determined to give Nana a life that would honor the memory of his father. She worked from dawn until dusk, toiling in the fields, never once complaining, never once showing the world the tears she shed when no one was watching. As Nana grew, so too did the weight on Chinay's shoulders. The strain of raising a child alone, with no family to turn to, no one to share her burdens, began to take its toll. And then, one day, the village awoke to the sound of wailing. Chinay had fallen ill, and there was nothing the healers could do. The illness was swift and merciless, and within days, Chinay was gone. The village mourned her passing, but in the days that followed, they also turned their backs on the one she left behind. Without his mother, Nana became a ghost in his own village. The people who once pitied Chinay now saw her son as a burden, a reminder of the fragility of life. He was just a child, barely old enough to understand what had happened, but old enough to feel the sting of rejection. Day after day, Nana roamed the village, searching for kindness, for a hand to hold, but he found none. The food that was once shared with him was now withheld, the smiles that once greeted him replaced with cold stares. Even the children, who once played with him, now avoided him, as if his misfortune was something they could catch. And so, Nana learned to survive on his own. He found solace in the places where no one else would go, the forgotten corners of the village, where the shadows were his only companions. The tree under which his mother used to rest became his refuge, its branches stretching out like the arms he longed to feel around him. But even in the darkest times, there are those whose hearts remain open, who see the pain of others and cannot turn away. Mazi Obele was one such person. She had lived a long life, had seen much suffering, and she could not ignore the sight of a child abandoned by his own people. In Mazi Obele, Nana found a glimmer of the love he had lost. She took him in, fed him, clothed him, and gave him the warmth he so desperately needed. But even her kindness could not erase the scars that had already formed on his young heart. Nana grew, but the wounds of his early years never truly healed. He spoke little, and when he did, it was often in whispers, as if afraid his voice would disturb the peace he had found. The village still kept its distance, and Nana learned to live with the silence that surrounded him. There were moments when Nana longed to be a part of the world that had rejected him, to feel the joy that others seemed to take for granted. But the walls that had been built around him were too high, too strong, and he could only watch from the outside, forever an observer of a life that was never meant for him.